Here we are again then at Le Castellet for another round of this year's Formula One World Championship. Renault took their first French Grand Prix win all the way back in the inaugural race in 1906, but it was another 73 years before they could take their second. I'm sure Alpine will be pushing hard to delight the local fans here today. We have 15 corners here at the circuit Paul Ricard, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, but the rain is coming down and making for a slippery racing surface. Luckily, there is plenty of runoff area available, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid bringing out a safety car during today's Grand Prix. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Phoenix lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Max Verstappen and Hamilton, Ocon, Ricciardo, Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda, Perez, Mick Schumacher, Alex Albon and Magnussen, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, George Russell and Sebastian Vettel. They've taken a grid penalty. Latifi and Guan Yu Zhou. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Natalie Pinkham, good to have you with us here today. Your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? As a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
As well, there is going to be a high chance of the safety car coming out at the end of this first lap. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we all get through safe. It's lights out and away we go. Verstappen gets an excellent stop. Lando Norris does get away very well. Daniel Ricciardo too. Lewis Hamilton ahead of Sergio Perez. Here into turn 1 we go. Charles Leclerc ahead of Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton ahead of Perez. George Russell making a challenge on Perez and ahead of Lando Norris. And there is Fernando Alonso swooping around the outside. It's a great start.
Absolutely great start by Alonso. Russell got out of shape as he got into turn 1, and that's what's backed up the McLarens. Are not going to have a go at Norris, but Fernando Alonso, he'll just be trying to get the benefit of that slipstream, and very much Hamilton getting an epic start.
Can see riding on board with Verstappen just how treacherous it is.
And he fancies a bit of a run around the outside. I think the Red Bull will have more grip.
Verstappen's in
very
trouble.
slow.
Either he's gone off the track or he's got a problem with the car, because Carlos Sainz, who 2 laps is now going to reach the crowd, absolutely loving that.
Puncture, we think puncture.
Hey, what's going on with the battery?
Battery fine.
No, it's not. I have no real... What the f*** is this?
There's a black and white flag for weaving on the straight.
Yeah, perfect. Say hi.
Efficiently, Verstappen sees the error by Carlos Sainz and swoops. Carlos Sainz pulls out to the inside and overtakes Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen's asked a really valid question. Why haven't they enabled DRS?
I'm not sure they ever enabled DRS when you're on intermediates and wet. Oh, look at that.
Here we go.
There's a chance for Max Verstappen.
Didn't get out of that little chicane very well at all, and Verstappen is hot on his tail. Keeps ahead by a metre through turn 11. And Verstappen goes wide and spins as well. He got caught up behind the rear wing, and that has proved very costly indeed. He's avoided the barrier. Verstappen through the mud, back onto the track again, has lost the podium place.
I'm losing power.
Not on this occasion. You can see the bumps and the porpoising there that is just unsettling the car into that first braking zone. Has been spun round, has lost it on turn 2. Looking for damage limitation, has seen the damage to the Red Bull, and he's going to pick up another podium. This is incredible, and it was just under traction.
What a f***ing choke all the f***ing time with this shit, honestly. Yeah, I'm stuck. This is what you get with this honestly. Choke this.
Lando Norris rounds the final corner. He sees his team cheering on the right-hand side. He sees the checkered flag, and he wins the French Grand Prix.
Oh, baby! Oh my God! Oh!
absolutely outstanding.
We've witnessed some great battles around Paul Ricard today, and they've taken a fantastic win. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium. Look then at the driver's standings. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Natalie Pinkham, come on, who do you pick?
Today, I think I'll give it to the Haas driver.
It's time to check out the Constructor's standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.